If you own an E30 or any old car really, you will get absolutely fleeced if you take it to a shop every time you have a problem. Today we're going to be talking about something everyone should know: how to diagnose a problem with your car. Whether it's running rough, making weird noises, or just not working, the goal is to show you how to track down the issue systematically without just throwing parts and money at it. This won't be about a specific fix, but rather the process to get to the bottom of any issue. Step number 1. Identify the problem. Before you buy any parts, before you start tearing anything apart, it's really, really important to observe the issue. What kind of noise is it making? Does it happen only when the motor is cold? Does it happen only when it's raining? Does it only happen when you press the gas? Is it a weird vibration only when you're going to the left, to the right? The more information you have about the problem, the better. These old cars are fairly simple. If there's a problem, pay attention and it will tell you what's wrong. Now, once you have an idea of what's going on, the absolute first thing you should do is to just Google it. These cars have been around since the 80s. 9 times out of 10, someone else has had this exact same problem as you. They posted about it, someone else came along, posted the solution, and you'll be all set. But what about that 1 in 10? Step 2, isolate the problem. It's crucial to pinpoint the issue so you don't spend hours and hours just chasing your tail. You need to narrow down the problem to a single subsystem. For example, your car doesn't start. It could either be related to fuel, air, or spark. If you have verified that your fuel is good, move on to air, move on to the spark. The key is to isolate which system the problem is in. Step 3. Verify the basics. It's really easy to jump ahead to conclusions with catastrophic failures and convoluted fixes, but sometimes the easiest fix is the best one. Start simple. Say you have an electrical problem. Check if the fuse is blown, check your battery voltage, check for loose connections. You'll often find your solution in this step. Step number 4, analyze. Now that we have this all out of the way, it's time to jump into the details. Every E30 owner should be familiar with these 2 sources of information: real OEM and the ETM. With this in hand, you will be able to view every single component and every wire in your car and see how it all comes together. Don't just start ripping things apart and try to figure out. Use the available documentation. You can look through all this stuff and see how it all works before you tear it apart. There are also repair manuals available like the Bentley. It's a lot easier to fix something if you know how it's meant to work. If you just blindly throw parts at it, you will never learn your way around the car. Step 5, be systematic. Troubleshooting is all about being methodical. It's very important to establish a baseline and verify what's working and what isn't. It may sound obvious, but that's really a key point. Now, using the diagrams, start at the beginning and trace your way down until you find something that doesn't jive. Now, let's try putting that all together with a simple, real-world example that actually happened to me. So I took the car out to a meet or something, I can't remember exactly. I was cruising along, everything's fine and dandy, and I get to a red light, and one of the guys on the cruise pulls up next to me, and he's like, "Dude, you have no brake lights. I'm right behind you, and I can't tell when you're braking, and they're not working." Step 1, identify the problem. So first things first. Are the brakes really out? Does this guy know what he's talking about? Maybe he just doesn't understand how the car is supposed to work. I don't know. So I hop out of the car and I just set up my phone in such a way to see the taillights or whatever. And I go in and press the pedal. Sure enough, no brake lights. Step 2, isolate the problem. So what I did next was check that all the other lights were working. So that way I know that the problem is isolated to just the brakes. I do the left turn signal, right turn signal, reverse, tail lights, all that was working fine. So just the problem was with the brakes. Step 3, start simple. So fairly safe to assume the battery is good because everything else was working in the car. I was driving it and all the lights are good. So let's check the fuse and check the bulbs, even though it's super unlikely that both bulbs are burnt out on both sides at the exact same time, but just trust the process. So all that checked out good. Step 4, analyze. So how does the brake light even work? Like, how does it know when it's supposed to turn on? I went to the wiring diagram. So if you look through the wiring diagram, the power runs to the lights when this switch is closed. Step 5, be systematic. We knew that all 3 lights weren't working, so it's unlikely any issue downstream. It has to be a centralized problem. And the best way to troubleshoot any electrical problem is to start at the source. So I tested that power was coming in at fuse 6, so that was good. And the next step in the diagram is it goes from fuse 6 to the brake switch, which is above the pedal. And sure enough, there was power above the pedal. Now, what about power coming after the switch? So I went down there, I pressed the switch, I probed it with my meter, and the power was not coming past the switch. So there was the problem. So then it's just a matter of going on Real OEM, finding the part number, ordering a new switch, and reinstalling it. I hope that this video is at least a little bit helpful. You really don't have to be some type of master tech or trained mechanic to fix any of this stuff. You just have to think about it, use the available information, and use your brain a little bit. You can fix everything on your car.